welcome to the latest discourse. This is your girl Taz,
And your girl Shad.
and we're your host on TLD. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. Today's show is on traveling for the summer. Leave in the comment section below some of the hidden gems you've discovered that most people have never even heard of or knew existed. So today we're going to get into a little bit of traveling. How you doing over there, Sha?
I'm doing well, Taz. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. All righty. So let's jump into it. So let me ask you, Shaw, what are some of the places you think our listeners will enjoy traveling to and why?
One of the places I love traveling to in the summer is New Orleans, Louisiana for the Essence Festival.
Ooh.
I started going to the Essence Festival probably around 1997, and it started off small and it has really grown. I
Mm-hmm.
enjoy going there because the people there are very friendly and welcoming to their city, and the food is really good. It's
I
just
hear that a lot. I've never
the
been.
seasonings, and it's just very good. Even like breakfast spots and the traditional stuff is good also. But I don't know, I just enjoy eating there. And as far as the Essence Festival is concerned, they have it always takes place around July 4th, and they have 3 nights of concerts and it's really top-notch people that are performing. This year, the Essence Festival is celebrating hip hop turning 50, so they have a lot of hip hop artists this year and a
Oh,
few R&B people too.
okay. I didn't know that. Well, that's excellent. Oh, they really doing it up for the 50th year of hip hop.
Yeah,
Okay. That should be
yeah.
good.
And if someone was to go, say it's their first time going, I would suggest not going to all 3 nights of concerts because for me, it was kind of tiring and it kind of cuts off what you can do otherwise, like other activities you may want to do.
Right.
Because the concerts start around 8, just say, and they end around 12-ish, and then you're probably not going to get back to your room to about 1 or 2, and then you're getting up, and they have other activities during the day. They have day parties, they have seminars during the day, and you may want to have dinner reservations somewhere. So you don't want to always have to think, okay, I got to get back to the room by 6 so I could get ready for the concert.
Right,
So
right,
I would suggest one day of concerts, maybe two, the
right,
most.
right.
And I love New Orleans because it's a walkable city. I usually stay
Mm.
around Bourbon Street, and you could just walk out of your hotel, and there's bars and restaurants right there. And they have streetcars too. So if something is, say, 10 blocks down, you could hop on the streetcar to get there.
Okay.
So,
What's that, like a little trolley or something like that?
yes. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that sounds interesting. I've never been. I've always heard, always seen it, and but I never been. So, I may have to check it out when well, I guess
Yeah.
it's probably too late. I wonder if the tickets are still available. But that would be nice.
It's probably not too late. They
Okay.
It's probably not too late. Yeah. And
Okay.
I've even been and not gone to the concerts and had a good time.
Oh wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, it's just
So let me ask you, how much, if you remember, like, well, I know you were you going for years, or you just went once or twice, or
I've been 4 times
oh, okay,
and I haven't been in a while. I haven't been lately. So,
okay.
I don't
So,
know how much the tickets are now for the concerts.
oh, okay, gotcha. That's where I'm gonna go next. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
sounds like a bunch of fun, that's for sure.
Mhm. It is. It is. And a lot of women go, and I think guys found out that there's a lot of women down in New Orleans for July 4th, so guys started to come to it also. So
Mhm.
it's a nice event.
Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. Another place I like to go in the summertime is NYC, New York City.
Woo woo.
And I may be a little partial since I'm from there, but it's just a fun place, I think, to be in the summertime. There's a host of things to do. Of course, you have Broadway, museums, great food there also, shopping, Coney Island. And one event I like to go to in New York during the summertime is the U.S. Open for tennis. I
Oh, okay.
enjoy watching live tennis. And the U.S. Open takes place Monday, August 28th through September 10th. So it's a 2-week event. And
Mhm.
the earlier you go, it's easier to get the tickets for the earlier in around the August 28th date. And then as it keeps progresses, those tickets are harder to get and more expensive.
Right.
So if you go early, there's just no telling who you might see play.
Right.
You
Well, that's what I
may
was gonna
see.
ask you. I was gonna say, is it a certain time frame? Like, most people may wait. Okay, well, this is the group that's playing early. This is the group that's playing later. Somebody may, have a particular player they're looking for. So, or you just have to go to all of them, kind of.
There's really no way to know, like, especially at the beginning, like when it's the person you want to see is going to play. But towards the end, you may know because it's not that many people left. You may
Okay.
know when they're going
So
to
they don't
play.
have a lineup though. You know how like they, like normally they'll say, this person and this person is playing around from this, approximate, I guess.
Maybe
But
on that day, but I don't know if they have it like
okay,
days before.
okay, oh okay.
Yeah. Maybe
Oh,
a
New
couple
York
of days,
City.
maybe a day before, but
Right, right.
yeah. So, and also I liked the West Indian Day Parade. That's on Labor Day, and you
Mhm.
get to see the, people walking in the stilts and the music, and it's just a high energy event,
Right.
and that's fun also. And just like New Orleans, New York is a very walkable city. I think I like that. And you could get around the five boroughs. It has excellent public transportation. So those are two places I like to go in the summertime.
Okay. Sounds great. Yeah, and I mean, I like New York too, so I get it. I wonder
Hmm.
do they still do that parade?
I wonder.
Yeah.
Uh,
I know it was having a lot of issues at one time, so I don't know whether it's still going, but
hmm
that's been around for how many years? 50?
At least I know 50, probably more than
Wow.
50.
Dang, that's so interesting. Yeah, no, but that was definitely a sight to see, and it's almost like when you're on them islands and they have their carnival. That really was like a
Mhm.
carnival that day, or
Mhm.
for those few days that they hosted. And then too, yeah, you used to see a lot of different celebrities and stuff like that coming down on the floats and stuff, and the music, and like you said, the
Mhm.
food. It was something nice.
Mhm. Yeah. So Taz, I know you like to go camping. Do you think camping is a good travel adventure for the summer?
Oh, absolutely. For me, I think camping creates self confidence and self awareness. You know, yeah.
Self-confidence. How?
Well, you know what? Because you're coming out of your normal element, that you kind of have a
Oh.
lot of things that I don't even know the word to use. I don't want to say hand it to you, but it's like at your convenience. So, but when you're out there, it's like you got to be confident in some of the life skills, or just things that you know,
Mhm.
because you're not going to
Mhm.
have your everyday things out there with you, that make you feel comfortable or confident. You kind of got to go within and just think a little more about how to survive or what you may have to do with something that you may have in your home versus you have out there in the wilderness.
Okay.
So that's for me anyways. And also helps you develop new skills. I mean, think about it. We're so used to just flicking on the light and
Mhm.
the stove and all those things, but when you're out there, you may have to make fire. You may have
Okay.
to absolutely think about it. You may have to go get your water. You may have to just to say you ran out of food or something happened to your food. If you're around a lake, you may have to fish that night. So those type of things you may have to learn. You just may have to improvise. Let's just say,
Mhm.
like I remember one night I went out and I'm like, oh, didn't even think, nothing of sleeping on the ground. I'm like, okay, whatever, sleeping on the ground. I've slept on the floor before. It's not a biggie. And boy, that was a shock to me. I twist and I turn and I turned and I twist. And I'm like, you know what? This ground feel like I'm laying on pavement. It was
Oh,
nothing plush
yeah.
about it.
Mhm.
And so I was like, I don't know about this. So no, I want to get me a blow up, and I'm like, listen, I could be out here, but and even if I didn't get a blow up, I would have definitely had to pad it some more because
Mhm.
you start to feel it on your bones, and I don't have that much flesh, so I was like, this is a little too much. Um,
Yeah.
let me see what else. Let me see. Yeah, and like I told you before, I think in the previous episode when we were talking about something else. To me, it gives you a sense of freedom, and it's a calm that comes with it. It's a great
Mm.
trip for family bonding. You can
Okay.
create memories, and just depend on where you go to camp. You can canoe, you could fish, you can hike, you could swim. Some people you can hunt. And it's just so
Mhm.
many more things that you can do. Some people take the time out there to, like, practice shooting, and people do horseback riding. I mean, it's just so many things that can come with that. Just the experience, being in a cabin. Some people do cabins and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Um, but
Y'all
with
do
it,
tents usually?
yeah, I we do the tent, just to give it more of that camping feeling. You don't want to get
Mhm.
too far out of it. People call it the glamping. For some things, but no, I wanted to, set up the tent and just kind of make you feel like you're doing something.
Okay. Yeah, that
But
sounds really fun.
oh, it is. It really, really is. But again, I think it's a good idea that you plan out because you want to know where you're going to go and how you want to experience it. So, I
Mhm.
just think, you can remember just it's all about the comfort levels and how you want to, I guess just really go through it. Because some people want the rough experience, they want the true outdoor experience. And some people say, I prefer the glamping. I wanted a little more comfortability, I want to be a little
Mhm.
more comfortable. So,
But like you said, it's good to learn those skills, so survivor skills, because
hmm
power goes out sometime, and
yeah,
you could use some of the skills in camping when you're home if the power goes out.
right.
So,
Especially if
mm,
you're not, making it too plush. If you're making it too plush, then you could feel like you're at home. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
But if
mhm,
you're really trying to have some of the experience where you feel like you're out there and it's like, oh man, what do I do? It definitely will set you, in that mode to where you have to go into survival mode and like, okay, well, I don't have this, well, let's try this, and so on and so forth. So I like it.
mhm.
I think everybody should do it or at least try it once. You know.
Yeah, I
hmm
think so too. I think it sounds really relaxing.
Oh, it is. Like I say, it's free, and I that's the best way I can say, and I'm gonna continue to say it's just you feel free. You don't feel obligated to anything. You know what I mean?
Mm,
And just to be out in the
mhm,
open and it's quiet and the crisp breeze. I mean, and even in the darkness, you may feel like you should be scared, but you don't even feel like that. And I guess again, it just
mhm.
depends on where you are and how deep in the woods you are. But I don't know. It's something different for sure. So let me
Okay.
ask you, Shaw, when traveling in or outside the country, what are some of the safety tips you follow? And can you provide the top 5 safety tips travelers should follow when traveling? If you have a
Okay.
top 5.
I think one of the things that's important, and I know now a lot of people do travel alone, that's becoming a very popular thing. But for those who are not traveling alone, I would say not to wander too far off alone and
hmm
have somebody in your party know where you're going. And if you're going to like a resort and on one of the islands,
Mhm.
I would say if you're going to venture out, know where you're going. Check with the hotel staff to see where's a safe place to go, because a
Mhm.
lot of times they'll tell you it's best to stay on the resort. But if you are going to go somewhere, you may want to get a driver um, from the resort to take you to wherever you're going to go. It just depends on where you're going and how safe it
Right.
is there. But that's don't wander off too far from the beaten path, I would say.
Right. And you feel like, like when you, if like give like one example, like a country that you went to that you feel like, you definitely would want to stay within those guidelines.
Jamaica.
Okay. Okay.
I'm trying to think. Well, I haven't been to that many different countries. Um, I didn't feel that way too much in London or Paris or even Cape Town in Africa. I would say just Jamaica.
Okay.
Um, and there's beautiful parts there. I don't want to make it sound like it's a bad place, but
Right.
I just would people tell you not to wander off.
Right.
So, yeah. And of course not don't wear flashy jewelry. You don't want to be a target for somebody robbing you. Try to
Mhm.
blend in and kind of dress like the locals whenever you go, on
Okay.
vacation.
Is that something you research a lot of times before you go? Like, because like I said, how does someone with really, I mean, well, common sense, but I mean, to know to do those things to blend in with the locals, like, was it like a certain attire, or you just saying, hey, just regular clothes or whatever?
Yeah, I would say just regular clothes and depending on where you're going though.
Right.
Like if you're going to Egypt or someplace like that, you probably would research to see what is appropriate to wear there.
Right.
But if you're going to Florida or something, you
Right.
probably would just know to wear shorts and t-shirts,
Right.
but just try not to be flashy and look like a tourist. You
Right.
don't want to look like a tourist.
Now I always hear that for New York City. It's like, definitely not up there. And there's
Hmm.
so much tourism, but you know, yeah, they tell you about that up there for sure.
Yeah. Another one is not to carry a lot of cash on you. Most places take your credit or debit cards even in other countries. So, and also you may want to, if you are traveling internationally, you may want to let your bank or credit card company know that you're traveling internationally. So they start seeing those charges on your popping up for a different country, it won't be alarming because they already know.
Right.
So they won't think someone stole your card. And you may want to carry your money and your credit card. Say you do have some cash and you have your debit card or credit card. You may want to carry those in two separate spots just in case you did get robbed. They won't take everything that you have.
Right. Right. So let me ask you, do you normally use a pocketbook or a pouch, or do you wear something around your neck when you normally travel outside the country?
I usually just carry a small bag that I
Okay.
a crossbody. What is it?
Okay.
Crossover, crossbody bag.
Mhm. Right.
Um, and I don't have a lot in it. Maybe my phone, small wallet. Yeah, nothing too heavy. And maybe like a tote to
Right.
keep souvenirs and stuff in. And another thing is like, especially if you're traveling abroad, you may want to keep a digital copy of your passport and your license just in case they get lost or stolen. So having that digital
Right.
copy of it could make the process of getting a replacement faster.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. So those are
Okay.
just a few tips and some fun places to travel to for the summer. Las Vegas, even though it's probably going to be hot, but you're going usually in the hotel, so it may not be too bad. New York, of course. Times Square in New York is the most visited destination in the United States, as well as in the whole world.
Wow. Woo woo.
Yeah, annual
New York is
visitors
it.
are recorded at 41.9 million.
Wow. Can't deny it. Can't
Yeah.
deny it. It's undisputed.
hmm In Orlando, I haven't been to Disney World in a long time, but that's a fun place. And
Right.
Cancun and Miami. Those are just a few places.
Right. That's not necessarily outside the country.
Mm, no. Yeah. Yeah. Just Cancun out of that
Okay.
list.
Right. Well, no,
Yeah.
those are definitely some good places. You always hear about Miami. That's another little hot spot. South
hmm
Beach, and you got Bayside out there, Miami. You got Coconut Grove. It's a lot of little nice
hmm
spots. Pompano. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. In regards to the camping, what do y'all look for in regards to a campground? Are there certain things that you look for?
I think you should. That's yeah. I think it's important. I think first, like I said before, I think you need to decide what kind of experience you want to have. That's number one. I'm gonna say that again, and then you got to think about the comfort level. And I think once you get that, then now you can start kind of looking around for the perfect spot. Um, you know, some people prefer to be deep in the woods, and some people prefer a little less. Forest. A little clearer, a little more open, so they don't have to deal with the bugs or the forest animals and just things that may come out at night. So like even with the ones with the where they don't have too much forest, I just think it just for some people who's like, okay, well, I want to experience this, but I don't know, I want to go all in, so I prefer it a little more open so I can kind of see. And so I just think those are kind of some of the things that you look for when it comes to the campground. I just think depending whether you want to be deep in the woods or you want to have something with a little more clearing.
Okay.
um 'cause like I said again, you're gonna have animals, you're gonna have bugs, you're gonna have stuff like that. And you also want to make sure it's pretty leveled and pretty decent far as in where you're going to set up your camp, your tent, because your tent, they're durable, but of course you don't want anything, no tears and stuff like that, because if you happen to be out there and it rains, you don't want to be, wet inside, or you don't want bugs to come
Okay.
in and stuff like that. So, it's not too much. And then, for some things, depending on what kind of area you're in or what kind of campsite you're at, some of them have water areas, they have bathrooms, and places to cook and stuff like that. And then for those sites that don't have that, of course, you got to provide, or make sure you have those things on hand, far as in like maybe a portable toilet or a portable shower and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah, because some places come set up like that. It may be a porta potty, or it may be an actual facility where you go in there and you can, it may have a couple of stalls and it may have a big old shower. So you can go in there, take a
Okay.
shower, so it's not, like I said, you're just out in the wilderness. You got some campsites set up like that, and then you got some that have nothing out there. So you may have to squat out in the woods and use, leaves, but of course, like I said, for places that don't have the toilets, you can always purchase like I said, a portable toilet and a shower and stuff like that. And like I said, sometimes we do that. Sometimes we'll bring our little shower.
You
And
could
it's
bring a
vers
shower?
Yeah, it's kind of versatile because it's just like it almost look like a tent. It's of course it's smaller, and it's a little more vertical. But yeah, you go in there to change your clothes, or like I said, you have a pail or something. You could go in there to use the bathroom, so at least you're right on your campsite. You know what I'm saying? So those
hmm
things make it a little more easy, a little more private, um, not as raw, you know.
Okay.
And with that same piece that I'm talking about, like I said, it could be like I said for a toilet for changing or a shower. You could just they got like little shower bags that like almost look like water bags, and you just fill them up. You hang it in there, and they have a little sprout, and it if you leave it out in the daytime, it heats up so well, and so by the time you need to use it, you have warm water.
That is interesting. Wow.
So yeah, so it's fun. It's definitely fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you talked about it is kid friendly. It sounds like it's very kid friendly. And the different sound like there's all different types of activities out there.
Right, right. Of course, I think it's definitely kid friendly. I think it's an excellent place for kids to, experience, especially if you set up activities, for them, because there's tons of things
Mhm.
to do. And I know kids don't really like that because there's so many other things that they're into now. But I think
Mhm.
if you really, really set it up, it'll be something that they'll never forget. And, they may,
Yeah.
once they become older, they may be like, you know what, I'll try that again, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but like with anything else, when you're bringing kids along, you want to make sure you have a first aid kit,
Mhm.
bug spray, certain repellents, depending on the location, because you got snakes, you got bears, and just other wildlife that may be out there. You may want to walk with some Benadryl, a asthma pump, just for kids that have allergy issues, or a EpiPen.
That's good
Um,
advice.
yeah, just because you can run into all kinds of things out there. And especially, like I
Mhm.
said, the repellents, I think that kind of helps. So even if you're out there and you stumble upon a snake, maybe you may have a certain, I can't remember what they said. I don't know if they said onion juice. I don't want to, give the wrong information, but it's certain things that you can spray on you, so even if you did stumble upon a snake is going to go the opposite way because you have that certain stench on you. So I think
Oh.
those things are good. And even if you don't have it sprayed on you, or they say even just carry it in your pocket, it just, I guess the aroma, it's just like, oh, I smell something that I don't want to smell or
Mhm.
touch. So I think those are some of the things. And last but not least, you got to have that talk with the children. The do's and don'ts when you're out in the
Okay.
wilderness. I think that's very important. And even maybe having a thing where they have a whistle or something on them, even if they're going to venture off. Maybe you can
Mm.
have, like, how sometimes we have keychains. Maybe you could put a little compass or a little flashlight or just something they can keep in their pocket. So if an event that something does happen, they can have a flashlight. But sometimes you got them
Mhm.
little pocket things, that you can kind of keep everything on a little chain.
Mhm.
And so in an event, they can blow the whistle, they can have a little light, or something if they happen to get lost or something like that. And
Mm.
because a lot of times you hear about kids getting lost or kids getting they drowning because they went into the lake. And so you definitely got to have that talk when you're in those type of locations.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's something that they would enjoy, and it would be, a lot of times when we're at home or doing other things. Does your phone work out there?
Like I said, it just really depends on where you're at. It
Okay.
just, it
I
really
think
depends.
I think the kids would enjoy it because it would allow them to have real quality time with their parents and siblings and
Oh,
stuff. Because
absolutely.
lot of times when we're doing other things, you're not really sitting down and talking to each other. So that would give them that individual quality time that they probably do desire.
Right, right. And if not, like I said again, you got to make it fun because these kids are, this generation is so different now. You really have to do things that's going to spark their interest, So
Okay.
I think personally, that's not something kids are like saying, "Hey, let's go camping," unless they grew up in that. Most kids who
Mhm.
talk like that or think like that, they grew up on farms, they used to go and camp. They kind of was already into that type of lifestyle. But just kids who, never ever did anything like that, that's like camping, not, because it's an inconvenience to them. It's not gonna be comfortable to them, it may
Mhm.
be hot, it may be too many bugs, and you know, so I just think, but if you set it up really nice and make it as comfortable as possible, but still have that outdoor experience, they'll love it. It's because there's so many things you could do. You got canoeing, you got fishing, of course, you're grilling, you got hiking
Mm.
trails, you could do bike riding, fly kites, throw frisbees, play
Oh,
cornhole, horse. I mean, just so many
that's
things.
a
Go, what is it
lot.
called? Good man. I mean, yeah, just outdoor activities. If you plan it. I mean, you don't have to just sit there and looking at it like, okay, well, what we gonna do? We don't put up the tent. We
Mhm.
done ate something. Now what? No, I think it's
Right.
plenty of things that you can do to make the experience, really, really nice. And I know one little area by me, they even it's a lake out there. They even set up like an obstacle course. So,
Oh.
it's in the evening or even in the daytime. But you figure, okay, well, I'm hot. You don't want to be in a tent in the daytime because you're gonna melt. So that's like whatever the
Oh.
temperature is out there, just 10 times it in the tent. So you really kind of got to go in the tent evening time or a little later than that,
Mhm.
just to get some comfort. Like once it starts to cool off, or you get the breeze from the trees, or if you're by water, you're definitely going to get that. But anything in the daytime, forget about it. And then of course, if it's just adults can do adult things. So keep your mind open to what you can do out there. It's just you and your partner, and the open sky.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's fun.
I'm gonna have to try it. I used to go to overnight camp when I was young, and I would imagine that was a long time ago. It seemed
Right.
like we did do a little camping, but
Mhm.
I need to do it as an adult.
Right. Listen, I may throw, hopefully, God willing, I've been wanting to throw a camping party. So I think it would be nice if I can get that
Yeah,
together.
yeah, that would be
Mm,
fun.
So I'd be like, hey, Sha, come down and enjoy some of this camping life.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would be
So,
really fun. Something different.
oh, yeah. And that's what I think. We have to start doing things that are just different, things that we, didn't necessarily grow up on, things that we just probably wouldn't spark our interest, and because you never know. Like, people laugh. We go to certain areas out here because I'm in Texas. For people that don't know, but they have a lot of places where you do axe throwing. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that is intriguing to me. Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
it's just different. I mean, it sounds corny, but who's doing it? Besides the people that are, so stuff like that. I like stuff that's different.
Mhm.
They got areas where they do paintballing and zip lining, and just stuff that people are not doing every day. you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's a few of the things that we like to do in the summertime. Please drop in the comments and let us know what you like to do in the summertime and what are your plans for this summer. I don't have anything on my calendar yet. I'm thinking about going to San Francisco for my birthday. I haven't been
Okay.
there yet, so we'll
Yeah, I would
see.
like to go there. I always used to look at that. I remember I used to look at Full House, and every time I used to see the little part where they show the trolley and stuff, and all of them guys, it's so hilly. I used to be like, oh, that's a nice place.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have a Vegas trip coming up, so woo woo woo.
Ooh, that should be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. Hope if all goes well, in July I'll be out in Vegas seeing Usher perform.
Oh, you're going to see Usher?
Yes, yes. So, and that's weird because as long as when I did live in Atlanta, I've never seen him. And I'm like, out of all the people, how come I've never seen Usher?
Oh,
So,
that's gonna be nice.
yeah, and it's crazy because that was supposed to be his last show, which is interesting. And he's been going and going and going, so it's not.
Yeah,
He
he just
did make
started back again.
He did make a little comment where he was like, July is going to be it. So I'm like, hopefully, because I think most people thought that was going to be his last show. And a lot of
Oh,
times people want to go to the last show because they're going
they
out with a
bring it.
bang. Right.
Yeah.
So hopefully he'll do that for the people that's going in July. But if not, it's okay. He's been holding it down. So just experiencing, hearing him, that'll be good. So
Yeah, that's gonna be nice.
yeah. So that's the summer trip.
All right. Well, thank you for listening, guys. I hope you got a few good tips from us of some of the things we like to do in the summertime. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and send us a comment. Let us know what you're going to do this summer. Until next time,
Thank
th-
you.
thank you.